Okay, so I've been thinking about this for a long time. Oh my god. And I've just decided to do it because I just want to speak out about it. I want to talk about human design as a permission slip, because this is something you hear a lot.
But what's your favorite thing about human design?
Favorite thing? I think it gives you permission to really be yourself.
The other thing that it does, I love that you say it gives you permission, because I do find that probably hands down, that's the piece that I hear from people the most, that when they get a human design reading, they feel seen. They oftentimes feel like that secret part of themselves that they really, they've sensed, they've known that potential, but they've never been really able to articulate it. That part gets, and they do get permission. We get, you get permission by learning about who you are and how you are.
Really, that's the biggest thing that human design gave me, is it gave me permission to lean into things that I always secretly felt.
Human design maybe gave me that extra permission to be myself as someone who I've always known I've been.
Then when I discovered human design, it gave me just permission to lean into it more.
Human design for me, when I got into it, was the first time I had a tool or a resource that gave me permission to just be me.
And so it gave me this permission to really step into my own power and to embrace that.
Human design in particular really gave me a lot of background and understanding of who I am and permission to really show up that way.
And that's what you said. Like, it really does. It just brings so much validation and permission. Like, permission I didn't even know I needed.
For me, the genius is in the permission, right? It's really in, you thought that this was wrong, but this is actually really great.
So it brings such a sense of fulfillment. A sense of fulfillment and a sense of permission to be your full self.
Human design is a permission tool.
When it really gives people permission and language to be themselves.
Yeah, I'm just so fascinated with this human design, and I just can't stop reading it and learning about it, because I really do. It's a beautiful thing to identify with, and it's almost like it's giving you permission to.
And I found so much self-understanding and self-love and self-acceptance and so much permission to be myself through the system.
Basically, what human design is it's like the energetic blueprint to your soul. It really, really gives you permission to be your unique self.
People saying that human design gave me permission to be myself. You also hear the actual phrase permission slip used quite a lot as well.
It's like you do their human design chart, we go through it, and it's like a permission slip that they never knew they needed.
When I had my design reading with you, I realized all of that was true that you said. But more importantly, it was like a permission slip.
But I feel like human design for me, it's giving me a permission slip to do things the way I want to in a entirely new way.
So human design is really taking that back and giving you this picture of permission, that slip to be this is who you're meant to be.
It is a deep permission slip.
But human design sounds like it's, well, I know it is, and I heard that everyone listening kind of gets this feeling that human design is the way that it's almost like a permission slip.
Usually you resonate with it. You resonate with it, which means it's like a permission slip.
You're so right with what you said. Like, even just these couple of things can make a huge difference, even if it's just a permission slip.
And it really has been that permission slip for me.
So I felt very liberated. I was given a permission slip to be who I am. And then
I can say I've had a couple of readings with you, and especially the last one it's almost like you get to understand your blueprint, and it feels so liberating and also confirming, like a permission slip.
It gets to a point too when you learn about human design and you learn about your authenticity, you are given this permission slip finally of wow.
This probably seems quite harmless and maybe even helpful. However, what's always in the back of my mind when I hear comments like this about human design being a permission slip to be who I am or to be unapologetically myself, whatever, is that if human design can permit, it can also prohibit. And it also is just very disempowering for me to hear a lot of mainly women say a system outside of them gave them the permission they needed to be themselves. Like, what if you hadn't stumbled across human design? Would you walk around feeling like you don't get to be yourself? There's something intrinsically disempowering sounding about that makes me quite sad. Another thing you hear is coaches saying I gave this person permission.
We're not controlling the outcome and using this as oh, I'm a generator, so this is just who I am, so I get to say no to you because I want to. That's not the permission we're giving anyone in this.
5 for 5, liberated, living like we ain't got time.
Yeah, I love how you just described that. I mean, you essentially kind of outlined your personal journey with human design, and that's so much of what I lead individuals through is really being given permission to be yourself.
Different and all of that. I did a gal that now has a podcast, and she was just on the edge, she was ready to go for her dreams and everything, and until she understood her emotional wave and she understood how she was operating before and how she wanted to operate and how that was exactly what she needed, and she just kind of settled and just took off. You could just tell when somebody's ready, they just need that little bit of confirmation, that little permission slip to be
It kind of takes me back to what you said earlier. It's one of my favorite things to do in a reading is feel like I've given someone the permission slip just to be them. And I can choose, do I want to do this because it lights me up and I'm passionate about it? Or can I delegate or diminish or delete this other thing because I don't want to do it, Or maybe I want to pivot and go in a whole different direction. I don't feel stuck and right here, right now. And so that permission to be able to, that I gave her to.
Which means I give other people permission to give themselves permission.
This kind of feeds into a egoic power trip thing where people think that they almost control their clients, they can permit and prohibit their clients from doing things. Again, it's a slippery slope to dysfunction, I think, and things that can be quite negative. One last thing I want to say about this is that this whole permission concept kind of travels through human design. So you hear people saying, if you're this type, you don't need permission. If you have this undefined, you do need permission to speak. And it gets really weird.
But informing is not the same as asking for permission. This can be a shadow that you get into, because all human design types have a light side and a shadow side. One of the shadow sides of a manifestor is to get into the mode of waiting for permission, because all other energy types, they actually kind of need energetically some kind of permission to move forward. That is what comes most naturally for them.
So some of us have defined throats, some of us have undefined throats. What that means is people with undefined throats have to wait for permission to speak.
I'm not the only person to talk about this. I think a couple people have mentioned that maybe it's not that helpful to describe human design as a permission slip. But I think this sets up the basis for a lot of things that could be better about human design, which I may get into future videos.